Dearly redheaded, we are choosing consciousness today to get through this thing called grief. Interesting word, grief. It means love, which makes for a mighty good joke. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing else. Just joy. And if the big picture tends to bring you down, go crazy once your life goes. Woo!
Nephew, we made a connection yesterday, and I'm going to try to do it justice, but I'm going to need your help. I can't speak for you, but I think the more, and we talk, we've been back in one another's lives for a handful of months, and we talk about twice a month. Fair?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm feeling, and I can only speak for me, that I still have this mode because so many of my family members were committed to misunderstanding me, that part of me that you described about yourself an episode or two ago about how you say things and people don't know what the fuck you mean.
Yeah. So
I have that I've always had. I don't have problems necessarily outside of my family. I'm fine in business, fine with friends, but I still like to go to places where I'm just even spitballing my own thoughts. I think you know that. But I've noticed in recent months that talking to you, I've kind of come down a level. Like I'm not as concerned about disagreement. I'm not concerned about pissing you off. I'm not concerned about creating a rift. Do you feel that too?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, I don't know how much you want to get into this, but like the previous 10 years that I've known you, you were a different person. And I would say the way I would describe you now is you're more insightful, more clear-minded, a little bit more rational, easier to talk to than compared to the previous 10 years.
When I was drinking and being abused?
Yeah. Yeah, and dealing with your dead mother and all that stuff, you know. I kind of saw you coming... I don't know. You were just in the previous 10 years. You were in a different place. You know.
I had to abandon myself. I had to.
Yeah.
I had to be abandoned. I couldn't. There was no room for. And I'd do it again for my mom. I think you know it, but there was no room after raising the boys, and there was no room to be insightful and to have all these wonderful thoughts. That's why I wrote jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that I am less apprehensive to be myself with you because I finally feel like I can't say something wrong, even though, and Brian will attest to this, in the first episode today, I was a mess and dissociated because I was, and talking to you, like once your voice kicks in and we've now been talking for fucking 90 minutes, it like my brain is like okay with it, but anticipating it was horrible because I just never want to disappoint you. I don't want to cause you more harm. I know what you've been through, and I just don't want to be a contributor to more of it.
Mm.
So, just
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean it's just you know, the thought of and I don't ruminate on that, but it snuck up on me today because I was fine driving here. It was just when I sat down to talk and anticipating talking to you. And what I'm trying to link this to is when we were talking yesterday, I felt we had a breakthrough is a big word. I'm not trying to make it bigger than it was, but I brought something to you that I had been. I kind of wanted you to get, and you kind of knew how to tell me you got it through your own example, which happened to be tied to the two friends that you no longer have relationships with. So you utilized that situation to relate to a situation and choice that I made. You following the bouncing ball?
Yeah, it was about loving someone even knowing that you can't be in a relationship with them. Is that that was the conclusion?
Yeah. And recognizing and crawling out of this multi-generational trauma and abuse thing in our particular family, both of us, I feel, have tremendous insight and comprehension of the generations of family that are now, there's some fragmentation, and there's some relationships that can't be repaired. So it takes two people with different perspectives on many things to both desire to be in a reciprocal relationship, which I feel like we are honestly doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, can you speak to more of that? Because I just don't want to be hanging here by my short hairs. And I'm not trying to get you to tell the story, but I mean, it's taken a lot of, and you get to a certain age and you want that connection. You recognize that it's hard. I mean, it's hard. It ain't easy.
Yeah, I mean, so what is the story that you're looking for?
I'm not gunning for anything. I'm just trying to say that okay. I think that if I was, I'd tell you. But I just think yesterday was a real, I'll fucking read what I texted you, because that'll help.
Sure.
And I had
we talked about a lot of things yesterday, so I'm just like going through my head thinking about.
No, I know. I'm that's why I'm trying to be a little more less abstract here.
I just one thing I was thinking of, as you were talking to, is that like everybody's family is fucked up. That there's, at least in my experience, right? I'm not going to speak across the board, but like there's always a fucked up component to everybody's family, and most people ignore it and ignore it for generations. That's what I'm realizing in my 40s now, is like all these people that ignored all the problems, and then it just gets passed on. And then, it's, I don't know any other better way forward than what we're doing right now, which is talking about it. And hopefully if anybody listens to this, they get some sort of like camaraderie out of this, I guess. Like, we're all in this together. We're trying to break the chain. We're trying to break the cycle. We're trying to be better parents to our kids. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, just in our family alone, there's a lot of like hidden aggression and rage and issues that have never been discussed. And I'm sure a lot of other people's families are exactly the same.
I don't doubt that for a second, and I'm not disagreeing with you. But the caveat I will put on that is I have not found that. Once I separated and once I got out of, how do I say this? Well, you and I were talking about it. It's tied to redemption. What's redeemable? And being redeemable is tied to people looking at themselves. So if they're not looking at themselves, they're probably not able to look at what they've repeated.
Sure.
Very, very often people will say, and I'll use myself as an example, something that was written to me that where I was forgiven for something because someone else shared with this person that they had forgiven their parents, whatever. And I said, it's wonderful when you forgive one another, but if you can't forgive yourself, you really never get to the root of what you repeated. So if I'm forgiving my parents, and I'm doing a hypothetical now, but I don't look at what their treatment of me, how it affected what I repeated and did to my kids, that doesn't end the cycle. The cycle, it's like an infinity symbol. The cycle doesn't really end. As we're ending it for as many people who are on the path to self, it's starting again. It's cycle breaking is a myth, but interrupting it, and I find, and you don't have to agree with me, I find that there's quote unquote normal dysfunction, and then there's above that. Okay, this is all right, and I don't know if you're going to let me say this, but I basically say, this may be unfair and premature, but your description of your friends, I'm not going to say their names, relevant to what I go through, say with my sibling, right? Mm-hmm. Makes me know I'll be able to enjoy them when I'm around them, because you get it. I'm so glad. And you said, I'm happy to hear that. That's why I wanted to share, because I fucking get it.
Yep.
So do you remember now what it was about? Or not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to respond without being cryptic.
I know, I'm very cryptic. I know.
This is all like this. It's all.
But you you really truly understanding and seeing my point, where you could take it, you could make an analogy in your own life. You didn't have to have the exact same experience to appreciate mine.
Right.
Made me be like, okay, because I have been. So folks have been so committed to misunderstanding me, which, I mean, it's not hard. I'm complex, and I'm, me. So, it's not hard for me to be the common denominator in situations that I have tried to take myself out of, because I'm not being treated well. And that, just as long as you can appreciate that I am where I'm at with things, it just makes that connected feeling come up. That's what makes me feel like connected. You don't have to agree. You never have to fucking agree with me. I don't care. I just want you to have a fucking opinion.
Right. Wow. Yeah, no, I do agree with
you. Let me just make sure I hit all the high notes. Oh, so I had a dream last night, and I'm not going to get into the dream, but as a result of that connection we made and the progression in our friendship, relationship, whatever it is, I don't dream that often, and I don't remember my dreams. And last night I had a really pretty funny dream, and I don't want to get into it, but it was a very unexpected that I would not only have one, but recall it. People say you dream all the time and you don't recall. I don't know. I think my unconscious lets me. I dream very consciously. I dream while I'm awake. I don't know if you've ever had that experience. It's really very lovely. It's not meant to be weird. Oh my gosh, I wrote it. I should have just fucking read this to you. You, being honest, tell me I can say anything to you. It's okay. You allow me to be understood long enough to experience true connection. There, I just said it a different way. Curiosity question, and this I want you to be really, 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 really the part of me that's on the spectrum and gets so vested in psychology and neurology and spirituality and philosophy. Is that something you've gotten increasingly comfortable with?
Um, God, that's a good question.
Or is that?
I mean, so
Go ahead.
like what my thoughts on religion, spirituality, things like that. That's what you're going for.
Well, not necessarily. Just the fact that this is where I'm at to get the poison out of me to process. I need to. Those are the and comedy. Those are the things that have become my high notes of late to get me to wherever I'm going with what I've been through. Those are the things that are helping me move through this stuff.
Yeah.
Is it too?
I would.
Go ahead.
I would say. I mean, I am confirmed Catholic, but now I basically avoid the church at all costs. I don't. I would say my spirituality is with the universe, if that makes sense. I feel like something bigger has to be going on. I feel like there's got to be a reason why we're here. But I don't have any solid thoughts on it. I don't believe there's a man in the sky, or a demon in the ground, any of that stuff. I don't know, but it can't just be that we're here for a blip and gone and that's it. So I don't know. I would say I'm exploring spirituality at this point.
It's funny because that's not where I thought you'd go, but I'm glad you went there because I realize, like you said about me 10 minutes ago, that 10 years ago I was not on this path. So it gives me pause to remember your age and to remember that it didn't happen for me until much later. And now I'm like super opinionated because of all the experiences I had. But I just wondered, just person to person, because here's the way that I look at myself, and you don't have to agree. I just look at it as I want to talk about those intense topics or I want to tell dick jokes. I don't have anything in between. And I'm just wondering if my ratio to intensity and solitude and dick jokes is a decent ratio, because I do not want to be like, I don't feel like the stuff that I talk about and what you and I end up talking about is somebody I get to be a lot. So when I am able to talk on here or talk to you, I get really excited. But is it too much?
I would actually say I relate to that too, and that's probably part of the reason why we've reconnected the way we did. Is I don't have an outlet for these things that are constantly in my brain, and a lot of people are not capable of having these conversations, not for any reason other than they're dealing with their own fear and suffering, and it is what it is. But some people are just not willing to open and accept it. But I mean, I would say to you, which I don't know if this is where you were leading, but what I've said to you, it's okay to take a break from this stuff every once in a while. I feel like you can't keep talking about this stuff. And I know you said this is temporary. You want to, the goal is to not have to talk about this every day. I get it. I totally get it. But, I just find for myself, I have to remind myself that it's okay to not think about myself every once in a while. Not in like a narcissistic way, but like as in a self-help way. It's okay to like not try to constantly be helping myself. And because when I remind myself that, I can feel some relief. Otherwise, it's like I'm stuck in this constant grind of like trying to be a better person. And it's fucking tiring.
Are you really?
Yeah.
See, I just turn things over to my higher self now. But it took me, and you and I spoke a little bit about and I have alluded to it many times on here, but I never have told the full story about having a severe dissociative CPTSD episode after Graham died, and that for several months afterwards, I was still sedating rage, and since I had a rage event, that scared the fuck out of me. But my rage event tended to scare the men around me. The women, like I have pictures, and I would show women, and they would be like, "Yeah, that's rage. I got that in me." You know, and because women are more likely, we're I'm stereotyping, but from what I've read, men are more likely to hurt another person or to be more external, and women are more likely to do something along the lines of what I did if it gets to that point. And my brain was on fucking fumes and had been for a long time. So I was very aware, thought I covered myself, thought I made arrangements, and it just didn't play out well. What the fuck were we talking about that led me down that fucking path? Oh, the break from it. Yeah, I feel like since there was even though I went through those things, there was so much preparation before. I think I had a big spiritual awakening in March of 22. Like I was always doing and seeing and feeling and experiencing the things I needed that would help me later. Always. Like I always had something to look back on that prepared me for the worst things in my life that have happened. Does that resonate, or you just that has come from meditation and my higher self. So that's where I am not one to ruminate. I would say that I spend time preparing for this podcast and wanting to save other people grief and spare them joy. But like when I get down when I'm home, I don't go down the rabbit hole. I know it's going to end. I know it could be a day. Usually it's a couple of hours. And I don't try to resolve it anymore. I try to just feel it, because you and I have talked about, the thing that, and I don't want to speak for you, but, the thing that we want to sedate more than anything is joy.
Yeah. That's something new you said to me recently, which really got me thinking about shit. I never like put that together, and it's like, oh yeah, fucking of course, sedate joy. Of course, that's what I do. I'm excited about something. Let's push it down. It's yeah. So that's a new one for me that I'm now thinking through.
Yeah, sedating grief, I've always done. Sedating rage after my incident scared the fuck out of me, because it took me 6 months after my incident to realize, my self-sabotage was still, because it's not that the rage goes away. It's just a matter of talking about why it had built up to that degree. And it was, again, I'm not looking for agreement, but my rage was warranted. It was, all the boxes were checked for that rage event. But subsequent to that, when I had reasons to be angry as a result of the way it was handled, but that took a while for my rage to go, oh, you're still motherfucking sedating rage. And that had to do with some self-sabotage and stuff that never manifested to the degree it once did in my life. It can't anymore. But I still did not, my point is, I still did not know I was doing it. But the emotion that is still the hardest for me is when I go to those places, it's like, why can't I just feel this joy? Why is it easier to feel like dog shit?
Yep. Yep, I agree. And that's something I'm exploring now.
Yeah. And the jokes help, but they don't we said we didn't bring up Carlin. You said your father turned you on to Carlin.
Yep. Yeah, he was my entrance into stand-up comedy. Still to this day, you watch his old bits. It is still very
Spot
relevant.
on.
Very
Spot on.
thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Yep.
I happened to catch him saying, and I shared this with you, that he did not want to make others think. He wanted them to know he was thinking. And I was like, thank you, fucking George. That's it.
Yeah.
That's fucking it. You know, and I've been guilty in previous weeks of like wanting people to think, and it's like, I'm fucking thinking about this shit, and I'm thinking about it now. I ain't gonna be thinking about, what I've been through. Once I get the poison out, I can't wait to have it in a fucking book form.
Yeah.
It's different than poetry, jokes, and I gotta get it out. And I hope you find a place for your music.
I hope so too.
All right.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's exactly what you were saying. Is I need an outlet for everything that's going on, and that's what it has been historically for me, is playing music and being artistic, and that's how I get my ideas out. My ideas are melodic. That's how I feel like I communicate the best with the universe. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I can't believe I made it through 4 episodes without crying like a dope. Nephew.
Yes.
I love you.
Oh, you almost made it. That's a good one.
I love you too.
And, when we reconnected, I busted your balls and said, "You're the one. You're the one. There's somebody else. I knew genetically it had to show up." Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
So, I think I'm going to name my home in the Poconos, Montana.
There you go.
You get that?
I do get that, yep.
So visit Montana once in a while.
Sure.
Bye, babe.
Thank you for listening and supporting Natural Born Redhead. If you follow the bouncing balls, please like and subscribe. If you know someone interested in sparing others grief and inciting joy, message me on Facebook or reach out via my website, Natural Born Redhead. J-Ma.